Today's chairlift interview is with U.S. ski team speed skier Alice McKennis. Alice, you have just had an amazing comeback. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I just got back on snow and started competing again this year after breaking my leg in the spring of 2018, and it was a very lengthy recovery process. There were some complications and sort of turned into an ordeal, and there was even a period of time where I wasn't sure I'd be able to ski again, but I'm really, really happy to be back and doing what I love.
Well, you're right now one of the best American speed skiers.
Come on, Alice. Come on, let's go!
You just are really getting results, and I feel like the momentum of that U.S. speed women's team is so good.
Yeah, we have a great group right now. We have a lot of younger athletes coming up, and that's really fun, and that's a place where I feel like I can sort of give them some of my knowledge because I've been on the World Cup for 10 years now, so it's fun to have some of the young ones along.
If you look at all the disciplines on the U.S. ski team, you're one of the strongest teams that we have. Why is that?
I think a lot of it comes down to the legacy that Lindsey Vonn and Julia Mancuso and Stacy Cook and a lot of those older athletes left behind. When I joined the U.S. ski team and made that World Cup group 10 years ago, I was young, but they really welcomed me and they supported me and they helped me a lot. And unlike European teams, we are away for months at a time. We don't get to go home for 2 days here and there. So all of our time is spent together. So the more we can work together and enjoy our time together and support each other, the better we're going to be, not only as athletes, but as people. And it makes the season a lot more fun and happy as well.
Yeah, happy. What are your personal goals, though?
Well, coming back from injury this first season, I really just hope to establish myself in the top 10 in the world again in downhill. And, you know, podium is always in my mind. I'd love to reach the podium this season, but really one of my main goals is to enjoy it and to really cherish the moments being back on snow because it was so hard to return, to really soak it all in.
What do you like about going fast?
I like the freedom of going fast and that you can push your limits. You know, really the only limit is yourself, which it sometimes can be a little bit frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be hard to push past those limits and to know sometimes there is a limit. There are certain times and places where you don't cross that limit. You know, there are places where it's not worth the risk, but then there are other times where it is worth taking that extra bit of risk and hopefully finishing on the podium.
Go, go!
So you grew up in Colorado, right?
Yes, I was born in Glenwood Springs.
And where was your mountain that you trained out of?
So I learned to ski at Sunlight Mountain just outside of Glenwood.
I love Sunlight.
It's a great hill. It's so fun. It's super old school and small, but it's a great place to learn how to ski. And then as I got older, I ski raced all over Colorado, all over the state with various clubs, and made the U.S. ski team in the spring of 2008.
How did you make the ski team? Was it in speed?
I made the U.S. ski team, it's hard for me to even remember. It was kind of a long time ago. I think it was actually based off of giant slalom.
Giant slalom. Yeah, and just you have such a good feel for the snow and the ability to go fast. So, I mean, that's why you're such a good downhiller. But just curious what you were so good at when you were younger.
As a younger athlete, I was actually really good at the technical events, giant slalom and slalom. And then when I started racing the speed events when I was 14, 15, I took to it right away. I really loved the speed and just the freedom you have to go fast and just sort of choose your own line and ski all the different types of terrain. You know, terrain's a much bigger aspect when it comes to speed skiing, and I really loved it from the beginning.
That's great. Do you feel afraid at all of getting re-injured or?
I think there's always a little bit of a fear of being re-injured, and that's something you have to work through mentally and emotionally. And one of the things I always focus on is if I'm skiing in a good body position, if I'm over my outside ski, I'm pretty safe. And that's something that always gives me a lot of comfort because I am skiing really technically well right now.
Keeps you stable, balanced.
Yeah, I'm going to be in a balanced position, and you know, you never know, but you always hope for the best that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in downhill is really linking big open turns.
Ooh, that sounds great. How fast have you gone?
I don't know officially, but we'll often go 75, 80 miles an hour in downhill.
I mean, all these young girls out there want to do what you're doing because it is exciting, and it's actually, to me, one of the most fun disciplines in skiing to watch.
Yeah, I'm obviously a big fan of downhill and Super G because it's what I excel at. And I think there is a good future for the U.S. within those disciplines, within the sport. And I hope to see a lot of younger racers continuing to show interest in downhill and Super G, and that will always have a strong future for those disciplines.
Yeah, I think we'd rather ride the chairlift with you than, race down a downhill with you. So we're grateful that you had time to chat about your career, and we're going to be cheering for you this winter.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm always happy to take a chair ride.
Okay.
And race downhill.
And race downhill. Stay safe.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Okay. Here we go.